The fuck going on with y'all, man? And welcome to the best Season 1 Necromancer starter build for Diablo 4 Bone Spear. Now first, before I say anything at all, there will be a little bit of a quality loss in these videos because I don't have time to make a nicely structured, fancy, dancy, transitioned video like I normally can, because the season comes out tomorrow and the patch was yesterday, so I didn't really have time to make those cool videos. So instead I got to make these. I used d4builds.gg. It's a pretty good website. You could put your gear, you could put your aspects, your gems, your malignant hearts, caged hearts, which I'll go over later, you know, your class mechanic, your stats, your skill tree, your paragon board. It even tells you your stats, and you could even put some notes and even a little bit of a YouTube showcase, which I don't think I'll do. But yeah, it's a very nice website, and I might just use this from now on. It seems like a much easier way to show you guys. It makes it easier on me and easier on you, because it's easier on me because it's a lot less work. It's easier on you because you can actually see the aspects and hover over stuff and stuff like that. So I think I'm gonna actually use this from now on. It just seems like a much more efficient way to show you guys the builds. But anyway, so yeah, I have the Necromancer build here for Bone Spear. I also have an endgame build for Bone Spear once you hit level 50, once you get all your aspects, are in World Tier 3, World Tier 4, and at this point you're just owning the game. But first, let's go over the starter build. Alright, so with the starter build, I would pick up the splintering aspect as soon as you can, because it makes Bone Spear apply vulnerable and just adds a bunch of nice fucking damage. So add this as soon as possible. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so you guys can see. There you go, the splintering aspect. You can obtain this in a dungeon. So yeah, it should be pretty easy to unlock. Okay. And then of course, for our rings, for the aspect on our rings, we want to use both resource generation aspects. So aspect of the umbral, a very popular aspect to generate resource, and of course higher rolled umbrals are preferred. It starts at restore 1 of your primary resource, but if you find one that says 3 or 4, those are really fucking good, and imprint them. Make sure you imprint those on good rings, not just leveling rings. But for now, for leveling, you can use the standard aspect that you obtain from the dungeon, no problem. And of course, here's a torment one. Again, another one that can be attained through an aspect and just increases essence generation, which is very important for this build, because the more essence generation we have, the more bone spears we can cast, and the bone spear is a crazy ass damage skill, which we'll go over in a little bit. As far as the gems go, you're going to socket in emerald gems on your weapons for more critical strike damage to vulnerable enemies, and we pretty much have apply vulnerable all the time, so this will be up most of the time or all the time. And for the armor, for the leveling process, we're going to socket in ruby for more life. And as far as the jewelries go, normally you would socket in skulls for more armor, but for the Season 1 malignant mechanic, I believe there will be malignant monsters that dropped caged hearts. These caged hearts can be socketed in your jewelry, and they give pretty cool stats. Some are class bonuses, some are all class bonuses. But you can go over these. You know, there's an option to go over these in these websites. I don't think these are all of them. They may be. I don't know. Who knows? But I just picked the ones that gave resource generation or just, you know, nice quality of life stuff. But this is pretty interchangeable. Go whatever you want. Go whatever you find. You know what I'm saying? Whatever works best for you, then go ahead and do that. But I just found the ones that I found were like, damn, these are pretty fucking strong. So just do whatever for that. Now let's go for this, the skills that we're going to use. So we're going to use 2 corpse skills, corpse explosion and corpse tendrils. Obviously corpse tendrils is how we're going to be vacuuming enemies into one area, and then if you can pull off at least 1 corpse explosion per fight, that will help you deal damage if you don't have enough, you know, essence for Bone Spear. So corpse explosion is like our second layer of damage, pretty much. And of course, blood mist is you can consider it your mobility skill, but I mostly used it to become immune, to break out of CC, or to heal, pretty much to get out of a tough spot. This is our oh shit button. This is our get out of jail free card. If you're in trouble, use blood mist. And of course, our ultimate is Bone Storm. The main This isn't really used for damage. It's mostly used to give us damage reduction and to give us a huge boost in critical strike chance. 20% critical strike chance is a lot, so make sure you save this for very threatening big elite packs or, of course, bosses. And here's Bone Splinters. Again, it's just used to generate essence or to give us a little extra critical strike chance. But yeah, if you're out of essence, then you want to use this to gain it back pretty much. And as far as the Necromancer unique mechanic minions, or Book of the Dead, I believe is what it's called, we're going to not be using any minions. I'm sorry. I know. Necromancer is supposed to be a minion build. I get it. I'm sorry. But Blizzard didn't really give it any any buffs to the minions. I didn't see any buffs in the patch notes. So, for now, Bone Spear is still the best Necromancer build. And for Bone Spear, you don't use any minions because you sacrifice the Skirmisher Skeletal Warriors to get critical strike chance. You sacrifice the Cold Skeletal Mages to get increased vulnerable damage, and you sacrifice the Iron Golems to give a huge critical strike damage bonus. It is what it is. I'm sorry. But if you want to go a minion build, then watch another YouTube video, I guess. I don't know. Trust me, I wish there was a working minion build that was better than Bone Spear, but there just isn't right now. It is what it is. Bone Spear is super strong too. Once you get your crit high enough, it starts doing millions of damage, no problem. I was doing millions damage on like a low geared character. It was kind of insane. But yeah, so here's a starter build that I'll use from 1 to 50. Here's the skill tree, and here, of course, here are the points that I would use per level. This website is so good that it tells you what points to get them in order when to get them. All right, very, very good. I'm not gonna go over each and every single one of these points. I mean, you have your main skills, you have your passives that give, essence generation, that give offense, that give defense, that give crit, that give movement speed, utility, whatever this build needs, these passives gives it that. Barrier, fortify, whatever, right? So here's a nice little order. And this also assumes you have your 10 extra renowned skill points, which is also assuming you have a character that you have made before Season 1 that have pretty much done anything in the game. So there is that. So let's move on to... So there's that. There's all the skills and the order in which to get them. Let's move on to the Paragon board. Now, of course, this is the starting build, so I only included one page of the Paragon board where we will socket in the control glyph to give us extra increased damage to crowd-controlled targets, which is pretty much all the goddamn time. So first page of the Paragon board, nice. Let's look at the notes. Here is a leveling guide primarily from levels 1 to 50. There is a Nightmare Dungeon tier list in there that is outdated, but don't worry, it is updated in this part of the guide, so don't worry about that. But this video was primarily made to give people a template to levels from 1 to 50, which is pretty much the hardest part of the game anyway, because once you get your build going, once you get all your aspects on all your paragons and whatnot in your gear, all builds start to shine. So this just shows the easiest way, the most optimal way to get from 1 to 50. Okay, and of course the weapons we're going to focus on using as Necromancer bone spears are two-handed swords because of their critical strike damage implicit. And of course, once you've unlocked Warrior Tier 3, once you're level 50 and whatnot, then you can swap to the end game build. Let's go ahead and change that. Oh, whoa, whoa. The reason why, so normally I would have a mid game build for these builds into an end game build, but Necromancer Bone Spear is so strong that you can just swap to the end game build because it doesn't require any uniques. It just requires your aspects. Once you get all these aspects, which most of them are obtainable through dungeons, by the way, once you get all these aspects, especially the ones that give you resource generation, those are the most important. Then you can just start spamming Bone Spears and doing a bunch of damage. So yeah, so here's the starter build, and here is the end game build, which you're going to swap over once you're in World Tier 3 and feel very comfortable. And here are the aspects for each of the pieces of gear. And I should say that both of these are linked down below in the description. Anything that I say, anything that you see, it will be linked down below in the description, among other things. So make sure you look down there, because I will miss something, and so will you. So make sure you check that. But yeah, here are all the aspects. We still use emeralds for critical strike damage, but we change out rubies for topazes for damage reduction when CC'd. And again, you can, for the caged hearts, it's totally up to you. It's totally up to you. Do whatever you want. There is a slight difference in skills here. We do not use Corpse Explosion anymore because Bone Spear does enough damage now. So we use Decrepify, which is a curse, which pretty much slows enemies. It can stun them and reduces your cooldowns even more. So a very strong curse, and I think one of the caged hearts, I think even one of the caged hearts will activate this sometimes even for you. So that even adds some more quality of life, and that also includes this one. So yeah, these caged hearts are super strong for this build because you don't have to press these buttons. They will just activate on your bar. And but you still want to get them because they sometimes you want to cast them on your own, and you want to get the modifiers, right? The enhanced into the whatever other modifier you get for these or upgrades. So, but yeah, the caged hearts with these skills are very, very, very OP, and it might be the go-to for the best endgame build. Who knows? But as far as the Book of the Dead goes, same thing. Skirmisher Warriors sacrifice for critical strike chance. Cold Mages sacrifice for vulnerable. Iron Golem sacrificed for critical strike damage. Eventually your critical strike chance will be high enough so you can change out Skeletal Warriors for defenders to sacrifice for more resistance. But most of the time, just keep it for the extra 5% critical strike chance. And of course, here are all the stats for each piece of gear, labeled from most important to least important. Armor, cooldown reduction, essence, life, damage reduction, essence cost reduction, ranks to skills. I'm not going to go over each and every single one of them. Vulnerable damage. But here is the list. And again, if you want to know anything, if you want to see anything that I'm looking at, just look at the link down below. You can see the guide there. And of course, here's a skill tree. It is different from the starter build, so you want to look at this and then the respect to this fully. You know what I'm saying? We use the same key passive though. Ossified Essence, very good. And then of course the Paragon board, full 225 pointed Paragon board. There it is. Let's talk about it. First page, we put in the control glyph for more damage against crowd control targets. Easy peasy. And then the next board, we use the Bone Graft board, and we socket in Exploit. Exploit is one of the best glyphs in the game, if not the best glyph, because all classes uses the glyph, and it just gives us a bunch of damage and a bunch of vulnerable damage. So very good there. The third board we tick is Scent of Death, and we socket in Corporeal, which gives a bonus to physical damage and damage reduction modifiers nearby for the Paragon nodes, which is really nice. Bone Spear is physical damage, so. And I believe, I have not talked about the legendary nodes. The legendary node for the second board, Bone Graph, is hitting enemies with bone skills increases your damage by 1% and your maximum essence by 3 for 8 seconds. Stacks up to 77.5% and 22. So pretty much this is always at full stacks because you're always casting either Bone Spear or Bone Splinters or Bone Storm. So this legendary node is very good with this build and will give you will give you a nice increased damage, but most importantly, that nice 22 extra essence, which is really nice. And then, of course, the Scent of Death legendary node, with at least 2 corpses nearby, you gain 15% damage reduction. With no corpses nearby, you deal 15% increased damage. So a buff on both sides, whether there's no corpse or a few corpses on the ground. Very good there. All right, the fourth board is the Flesh Eater board, and we socket in the Sacrificial Glyph, which grants a bonus to all magic nodes within range. So, of course, we pick up the nice magic nodes within range. Boom, 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 boom. Damage, dex, whatever. And then the additional bonus is you deal increased damage while no active minions. And because we sacrifice all our minions, that's a nice, easy 10% increase right there. Again, Diablo 4 is a additive, multiplicative game. The more increases and shit you get, they stack on top of each other over and over and over again until you deal millions and billions of damage. That's how Diablo 3 worked, and it looks like they're doing the same thing here, just not to that degree. Okay. And for our fifth and final board, we're only going to be using 5 boards and 5 glyphs. No legendary node here, though. We're just going to be using the Essence Glyph, which gives us increased critical strike damage. And, of course, critical strikes deal increased damage to enemies that are not healthy, so pretty much injured. And, yeah, that's the full 225-point Paragon board. You can again, these are just, what I'm showing you guys is just a build template. You can swap in and swap out whatever you want. Change whatever you like. This is just a template for those who need one. You know what I'm saying? I definitely needed one, so... Let's go to the note section. Again, leveling guide 1 to 50 right here. Use that if you will. We're going to be using two-handed swords, again, because of the critical strike damage. And for the glyph level priority, it changes to level 15 for these, and then 21 for these. So make sure you do that. And of course, here's some elixirs that you can run. Very nice offensive, defensive elixirs. Here's some incenses you can turn on as well. And of course, so the Nightmare Dungeons, I didn't know this. The Nightmare Dungeons will be changed. They'll be changing the Nightmare Dungeon options, and these are the strongest ones to run, or at least the best and fastest ones that I can see. They give the most XP and are worth the amount of time that you spend completing them. Here are the top 10 ones. Now this can definitely change because this was only tested very slightly. This was tested like one day, so yeah, these can change. But for now, this is the list that I have. If it changes, then I'll update it. But yeah, and then of course, to get the gear, to get your gear fastest, you want to do Hell Tides. That is the fastest way to gear up your character, and to farm Forgotten Souls, which is the most important material in the game. Forgotten Souls is the material that upgrades your gear fully, and can enchant your gear, so you can make them have perfect stats. And there it is. You don't have to use any uniques. If there is a unique that you can use, it's probably Harlequin. Probably this, because every single build can use this build. But I would not expect to get this helm. I did not get this helm, and I had like 5 level 80-90 characters. I did not find this helm. So don't expect to get this helm. But if you find it, then put it on. Sure, why not? But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it, man. Again, both of these, the starter build, the end game build, both of these will be found down below in the description. If you couldn't follow my annoying voice, or if I talk too fast, or if I miss something, or if you miss something, just click the links down below and it'll tell you exactly what to do for these builds. All right. Other than that, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I have made a starter build for Rogue, Barbarian, and Necromancer now. I will be doing Druid and Sorcerer very shortly. And then I also plan to make a progression guide, which is different from the leveling guide, to help you progress your character through your gear, through Hell Tides, through enchanting, and, through whatever, through Nightmare Dungeons and whatnot. And then I also plan to play Season 1. I think I'm playing a Twisting Blades Rogue, or I'm playing a Bone Spear Necromancer. I'm not sure yet. The only reason why I want to play Rogue is because Bone Spear might be stronger. It definitely does more damage, but it's harder to level with. Twisting Blades Rogue is such easy mode for leveling. It's kind of stupid. So, yeah, I might just play Rogue, but who knows? Hey, comment down below what you guys plan to play, and of course, like and subscribe, all that good shit too. If you're interested in anything Diablo 4, I have a lot of good video ideas for this game, and I plan to play it a shit ton. I only think I'm gonna play one character though for this season. Pre-season I played 5 characters, and they're all high level, and it took a lot of my time. And I am married and have a full-time job, so I can't really be doing that anymore. Okay, but I do plan to play a lot still. I'm gonna focus on one character, max that character out, get it godlike, do all the content, maybe play some hardcore. Who knows? So if you're interested in anything Diablo 4, throw me a sub. Yeah, I want to stream too, but it's kind of hard to find time to, again, because of my schedule. But whenever that happens, I'll let y'all know. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, thanks for watching, guys. If you found any of this parts of this guide useful, I'm super fucking glad. And again, this is just a template. If there are some things that you disagree with, that's totally fine. Take what you like, discard what you don't. It's all good in the fucking hood. All right. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I surely appreciate it. And remember to stay a while and listen. Peace out.